Hey friends, Andy here. You know, there are only a few things in this world that are certain. Death, taxes, and crypto crashes. Hey, that's a rhyme. Every time crypto reaches new heights, there are tons and tons of news sites with headlines about the impending doom and crash. However, I think that's the wrong question. I don't think you should be asking, will it crash again? Because that's an inevitable yes. I think the question you should ask is, how can I make as much money as possible when it does crash? So that's what I want to talk about in this here video. I'm going to share my thoughts on the current market, if I think the bull cycle is over, and if I think there is a crash coming anytime soon. I will share exactly what I did during the last bear market to maximize my returns in this current cycle, including what I did to have results like taking $1,200 and turning it to $150,000. I will also tell you what it was like during the last up and down markets from 2017 through 2019 and how you can be prepared from this point on forward.
Yeah, be prepared. We'll be prepared.
But first, could you do me a favor and crash that like button? Unlike Thanos' decisions, which cost him everything, clicking that like button costs you nothing.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
In exchange, I will give you a video full of value. All right, let's jump into it. What do I think about the current market and will it crash soon? So in this cycle, what has happened is earlier in this year, Bitcoin broke its old all-time high price of $20,000, and that was pretty incredible. There was, of course, the Tesla news where they bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and there was also a bunch of super bullish institutional news like MicroStrategy buying up tons and tons of Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and long-time ultra-conservative institutions like Mass Mutual Insurance buying Bitcoin on their balance sheets. All this news all churned up and mixed up together resulted in a new all-time high for Bitcoin of $64,000 and some change. But now we're back in the 30,000-ish range. We keep going up and down within the mid-30s, so certainly a 50% crash means we're out of the bull cycle, right? Well, no, I don't think so. I think this is just one of the many wonderful and fun Bitcoin corrections that it loves to do. 50% crashes or 50% drops are really nothing in the big scheme of things when it comes to Bitcoin's history. So why do I still think we're in a bull market? Why do I think this market has not quite finished up yet? Well, all the news I just said, plus there's a whole bunch of other news. I think Bitcoin just has a ton of momentum right now. For example, there was recently the news from El Salvador that they have made Bitcoin legal tender, which I don't think most of the world has fully wrapped their head around yet, and I believe there's still going to be plenty of ramifications for that news in the future. Right now, the number of new users on the Bitcoin network with new wallet addresses is still near an all-time high. And of all those wallets using Bitcoin and storing Bitcoin, all the ones that have 100 BTC or less, which is mainly retail investors, that's you and me, those wallets are still accumulating. They are still buying mostly and not selling their Bitcoin. And even though Bitcoin has had some bad news, like the China mining ban, I ultimately view a lot of that stuff as good news. One, I really believe that whatever doesn't kill Bitcoin makes it stronger. And two, there was a pretty big concentration of Bitcoin miners in China, and now they're getting kicked out. So that means the miners are going to spread out to wherever they can find the cheap electricity they need to mine Bitcoin, and that means further decentralization of the Bitcoin network. Now, I want to talk about the last bull market for crypto back in 2017, 2018. As someone who has been in crypto for the past 4 years and lived through all of that stuff, I want to tell you exactly what it was like and what were some lessons I learned from that. A quick recap: all through 2017, Bitcoin was steadily gaining momentum and gaining price action. And of course, that all came to a head in the fall of 2017 when Bitcoin hit its previous all-time high of nearly $20,000. So naturally, with news as big as that, there was ensuing pandemonium, crypto craze, euphoria. It was a really, really wild time to be a part of the space. One, Bitcoin hitting $20,000 was incredible. It was one of those I can't believe this is happening moments. But two, that led to an ensuing altcoin season. There was mass euphoria, mass excitement. Everybody seemed to be jumping into cryptocurrency. Everywhere you looked was news articles, blog posts, YouTube videos, all about what's the next coin to blow up. And the crazy thing was that for a short little while, there were basically no wrong answers. Everything was going to the moon. And if you didn't pack your bags, you were gonna miss out on your trip. Naturally, with a market like that, there was so much FOMO, so much greed, that inevitably it all had to come crashing back down, and in doing so, there was a bunch of people who lost a bunch of money. Now, me personally, I did give in to the FOMO. I bought lots of things at all-time highs, and then I watched them with a sad frown on my face as they crashed back down. But even with all the mistakes I made during that time, I did learn a lot of valuable lessons. Two of the biggest lessons I learned were how to keep a cool head and not let emotions dictate my investing decisions. And two, even when things are looking bad, there are still tons of opportunities. Now, I know it gets quoted to death, but I really do believe in the merits of the quote from Warren Buffett, where he says to investors that you should be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. And I really feel like that's what I personally did from 2018, 19, and into 2020. Also, if you are somebody who lived through the last crypto craze and crash, let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you've got a war story, share it down there. So what exactly did I do during the last bear market that I found to be very profitable going into this bull market, and can you do it too? I would say the number one biggest thing I did is I researched Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general like crazy. I very frequently spent every day learning new things about the space, as much as I could possibly glean, listening to podcasts, reading books, reading articles, watching YouTube videos, you name it. I was doing it, I was consuming it, trying to get as much knowledge into my head as possible. I definitely learned that the more you understand what you're investing in, the better you are equipped to make decisions based on that information. And one of the greatest tools I have in my investing war chest is conviction. You cannot borrow conviction from other people. You have to have it for yourself. And I found that the number one way to have die-hard conviction is just to understand the investment. Research the heck out of it. The next thing I did after researching everything like crazy is I went hard on investments into Bitcoin, into other cryptocurrencies, and into other asymmetric crypto-related bets. I bought Bitcoin at all-time highs at $19,000 and $20,000, and I bought it all the way down to its lows in the $3,000 range. Most of the time I was dollar cost averaging, but I was buying big chunks and little chunks just anytime I had extra money to throw at it I was investing. And in doing so, I bought all the way back up to its current all-time high of $64,000. So one of the biggest things I did was I just consistently invested in something I really believe in, and it has performed so well for me. So few people were buying Bitcoin in the less than $10,000 range. But because I had so much understanding and conviction about it, I thought that was a bargain, so I was gobbling up as much Bitcoin as I could possibly afford. I think my average current buy price for Bitcoin is right around $8,500 per coin, which is pretty good. But aside from buying Bitcoin, I also looked for other opportunities, and man, there are a bunch of opportunities in the crypto space during a bear market. When it's not sexy to talk about crypto or to invest in crypto, there are lots of deals to be had. Not just when it comes to buying cryptocurrencies, but also buying the things you need to get the crypto, like mining rigs. Over the past 4 years, I have put quite a bit of money into building mining rigs and buying mining machines, and man, has that investment paid off. I've had lots of really great bets, and I've got lots of things I could share. Maybe I should share in another video. Let me know if you want to see that. But I will give you one example. I think privacy coins are super cool and are very interesting projects. And one that stuck out to me in the past couple years that I found in research was called Pirate Chain. When I found Pirate Chain, I thought it was a super cool project, but I didn't want to throw money directly at it. Instead, I wanted to do the mining approach. So I hopped on Craigslist and found a mining machine that would mine Pirate Chain. I spent $180 on that miner. Then I just let it run, and I forgot all about it. I think I paid about $900 worth of electricity over the past several years running that machine. So all told, my investment into Pirate Chain was about $1,200. However, Pirate Chain recently, in the past couple of months, kind of blew up. And at Pirate Chain's peak, I had about $150,000 worth of Pirate Chain. So I'm still holding some of it, but I did sell off a chunk of it into Bitcoin, because ultimately most of my strategy with most of my altcoins and mining is just to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. But that's just one little example of one of the many bets I have made over the past several years that you could be making too, if you're willing to put in the research, the work, and money when nobody else is willing to do it. And on the topic of that type of stuff, I also bought a bunch of mining motherboards and some video cards and some mining rig enclosures and stuff like that. Bought it for bargain basement prices, threw it on a shelf, and during this run, I have been selling that stuff on eBay for extremely high profits. These are all things you can do too during the next bear market in crypto. I'm not special, I'm not doing anything crazy, this is all pretty easy stuff. It just comes down to you being willing to put your money where your mouth is and make these moves. Another thing I did over the past 4 years that really paid off is I just did not not sell any of my crypto. When things are down and it seems like things are hopeless, it really is tempting just to sell everything. But I didn't let my emotions get the better of me, and I just held on to everything with the hope and expectation that one day it would pay off. Now, certainly some of the projects I invested in or mined have gone to zero and don't exist anymore, but of the ones that are still around and still thriving, I have done very, very well. And that goes into the next thing I did, which is just being really patient. Everyone wants to get rich with crypto overnight, and I'm sure you can do that. I just think it's going to be really tough, or you have to be really lucky. For me, getting rich overnight with crypto looked like getting rich over the course of 4 years, all the while me having to ignore everybody who told me it was a bad investment, a bad decision, or I was throwing my money away, wondering what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
So I was just patient, endured all the flack, and just sat on my stacks until this current market rolled around, and it has been a great decision. I really think if you can get creative and invest when most other people are too scared to, you can also win big. So what are the takeaways in this video? Number one, I do not think that this bull market is over. I still think there is tons of upside left with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I am still very confident we're going to see $100,000 Bitcoin either this year or next. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, and one of the biggest lessons you can learn from these cycles in investing, is to not let your emotions dictate what you do. Emotional decision making with investing is extremely costly. If you can combine having a level head with looking for opportunities where other people are not looking for them, you can come out so far ahead. So when inevitably the next cycle happens where we have a long bear market in crypto, keep a sharp eye out for opportunity. It can make all the difference in your investing strategy. Then of course you actually have to have the bravery to put your money where your mouth is and make the decisions, but I promise you if you do that, you will see non-typical results. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Also follow me on Twitter where I post original content every single day. Also, do you want me to do a video on how Bitcoin accelerated our financial plans and made us wealthy? If so, let me know down below and I'll be sure to do that. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.